Resolving conflicts healthily, constructive strategies for couples. Welcome back to Beyond Vows and Cradles, the podcast where we dive deep into the intricacies of relationships, marriage, and family life. I'm your host, Relationship Lady, and today we're talking about something every couple experiences: conflict. But here's the catch. Conflict doesn't have to be destructive. In fact, when handled well, it can strengthen your relationship. So, in today's episode, we'll explore practical strategies for resolving conflicts healthily. We'll also share a real-life story that sheds light on how these strategies play out in everyday life. Stay tuned, because this is an episode you don't want to miss. Segment 1. Understanding the nature of conflict. First, let's get one thing clear. Conflict is inevitable in any relationship. It's not about whether you'll have disagreements. It's about how you handle them when they arise. Conflict often stems from misunderstandings, unmet expectations, or differences in values or priorities. But the good news is, conflict doesn't have to be a deal breaker. It can be a breakthrough moment if approached constructively. Segment 2. Strategy number 1. Practice active listening. One of the most effective ways to resolve conflicts is by practicing active listening. This means really focusing on what your partner is saying without interrupting or planning your response while they're talking. It's about being fully present in the moment. An example. Sarah and John, a couple married for 5 years, found themselves arguing frequently about money. John would shut down when Sarah brought up the budget, which only made Sarah more frustrated. They decided to try active listening. John learned to listen to Sarah's concerns without getting defensive, and Sarah learned to express her worries without blaming John. This simple shift in communication made a world of difference. Segment 3. Strategy number 2. Focus on the issue, not the person. When conflicts arise, it's easy to start attacking your partner's character instead of addressing the issue at hand. This is a mistake. For example, if you're upset about your partner being late, instead of saying, "You're so irresponsible," try saying, "I feel stressed when you're late because it throws off our plans." This keeps the focus on the issue, punctuality, rather than making it a personal attack. A couple we know, Emma and David, struggled with this. Emma felt David never made time for her, and her frustration would often come out as personal attacks during arguments. After some counseling, they learned to focus on specific issues like scheduling rather than attacking each other's character, which drastically improved their communication. Segment 4. Strategy number 3. Take a timeout when needed. Sometimes emotions can run high, and it's best to take a timeout. This isn't about avoiding the conflict, but rather giving yourself space to cool down and approach the issue with a clearer mind. If a conversation is getting too heated, agree to take a break and revisit it after a set amount of time. For instance, Anna and Mike had frequent arguments about their parenting styles. When these arguments became too intense, they agreed to step away, gather their thoughts, and then come back to discuss the issue calmly. This timeout helped them avoid saying things they didn't mean and allowed for a more productive conversation. Segment 5. Real-life example. How conflict resolution saved a marriage. Let me share with you a story of real-life conflict resolution. Meet Lisa and James, a couple on the brink of separation. They had been married for 10 years, but over time, small disagreements about chores, finances, and family visits escalated into major fights. They realized they were heading towards divorce if they didn't make a change. They sought help and learned strategies like active listening, focusing on the issue, and taking timeouts. Over several months, they started implementing these techniques, and gradually, their relationship improved. The turning point came when they both decided to focus on rebuilding their bond rather than winning arguments. Today, they're not only still married, but they're happier than they've been in years. Lisa says, "We didn't realize how much our communication patterns were damaging our marriage until we made a conscious effort to change them. Now, we're stronger together." Conclusion. Conflict in relationships is inevitable, but how we handle it makes all the difference. By practicing active listening, focusing on the issue, not the person, and taking timeouts when needed, we can transform conflicts into opportunities for growth. Remember, it's not about avoiding disagreements, but about approaching them in a way that strengthens your relationship. Thanks for tuning in to Beyond Vows and Cradles. If you found today's episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might benefit. Until next time, take care and keep nurturing your relationship.